a pretty special moment, huh?
Yeah, it's a great moment.
Go into the same class as Coach Doherty, who I know meant so much to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was actually the first thing that I said when I was inducted, and I got that first phone call from, it was overwhelming at the time, actually, because I didn't even think I was going to be inducted in the first place. As Coach has mentioned, the program has jumped leaps and bounds under his leadership in the last few years. And the key phrase that you just heard a lot of times when Charles was saying was, at the time of my graduation. And it's because the program has become so great in that time afterwards that that phrase is in there all the time. There are some amazing student athletes that came through under Coach Doherty.
Let's talk about how you ended up at Valpo, and then talk a little bit about what transpired after that.
Yeah, so as Charles mentioned, this was the only Division I tennis offer I had. I'm from Michigan, and Valpo wasn't on my radar, but until I actually heard from Coach Doherty. I was thinking about going to a smaller school. I wanted to go to a liberal arts school at the time. I also wanted to have the challenge and experience of playing Division I competition. I knew that I could handle that, and I really wanted the challenge of getting better while I was in college too. Up until I was a sophomore, I was about 5'2", and even when I came in here, I'm still 5'7", right? But I was pretty skinny. You might have confused me with a high school freshman when I came in as a college freshman up here too. So I did a lot of development under Coach Doherty, and I really consider this the place where my strengths as a tennis player were developed.
All right, let's fast forward. We've got to hear what Coach Doherty referred to, the Flagler match. Tell us about that day.
Yeah. So this is the match that always sticks out in my head. This is our spring break trip. We're down in Florida playing on the outdoor hard courts out there, which certainly always helped out a little guy like me playing against some of the bigger players. I have no idea what the nationality of the player I actually was playing was. All I do remember is when I shook his hand at the net, I was looking up like that. But this is a junior year of college for me, and it was our best team that we would have, I would say, in college. We got to the finals of the tournament. We lost to a team that we beat before getting in, but that Flagler match was a turning point, I think, for our team in general. They were a top team. They were a top 10 team in NAIA, and if you know anything about NAIA, that means the scholarship rules are a little bit different, and the eligibility rules are a little bit different too. So the people at the top in those NAIA schools are often very, very good tennis players. And I got blown out the first set of that match, and I came back and somehow won the second set when I think the guy thought it was going to be an early day. And by the third set, we were under the lights, and it was hours into the match right there, and everybody else was done. And I just remember we went to a tiebreak, and I remember the team and coach yelling during that tiebreak. And this is this is St. Augustine, Florida, a retirement community in Northeast Florida up there. They don't get a lot of this coming on, but those two teams made a heck of a lot of noise during that time. And I remember that when the last ball sailed long, I'm pretty sure I saw Doherty jumping a short fence over top to get to me for that. And I think that was the only time I was referring to, and I saw him jumping up and down. For sure the rest of the team come over. You'll have to confirm with Doherty himself about that match.
All right, how about overall your experience at Valpo? It's kind of shaped your life from an academic standpoint, right?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, I came to Valpo because it was a liberal arts school, and I had no idea what I wanted to do in my career at the time, something in biology potentially. And a couple of the professors in biology really shaped my time here as well. Rob Swanson, who's still a professor in biology, and Lori Eberhardt, who is also a professor in biology still right now. I still create all of my course content for graduate students based on what I learned during my first 2 years in core here and in my upper semester classes where I only had a couple students in the class, making it very hands-on and active. But when I got taken into that for biology research by Rob Swanson, he did plant genetics research, and I became a plant evolutionary geneticist. That's still what I do today, and without that experience, he gave experience to an undergraduate student, something that we never really would do, brought them in the lab, gave them the resources to try to succeed. And that's just my experience at Valparaiso is I've been very, very lucky with the people that I've had as mentors, that I've been able to, have the experiences that I've had. And that's certainly shaped how he got me into grad school essentially. And, from there, that's what happens.
All right, thanks, Nick. Congratulations. Nic Kooyers, everybody.